Today, we've got Mike Ray, a technology futurist who has been on the cutting edge of innovation for the last several decades. His work in pushing the boundaries of what real time 3D can bring to the table has led to some fantastic insights into both what's possible today and in the near future. Today, Mike would like to give us all a glimpse into one possible future, one where a metaverse enabled real time economy could change the very way we engage, interact, and more. Here to wow our inner mind's eye is Mike Ray.
Thanks, Scott, for that introduction. I don't know if I can live up to the hype, but I'll do my best. So I'm quickly going to talk about why there is so much value in the metaverse, and then I'm going to finish up why this is such a great thing for the entire planet. Let's see if we get this to go through. So let's talk a little bit about each new economy that comes around, and it's about democratization. And this is what we mean by economy fully taking hold of a market. And it never really becomes fully matured until it's completely democratized, till everybody has access to it. So we'll take a look at quickly the industrial economy, right? It democratized energy and products. All the products we have are today came from this past. And it was never a single technology that drives these economies to move forward. There's always been a multiple technologies that come together. And you take a look at the computing economy as that came along as well. It gave us access and democratized computing. Can you imagine what the world would be like if only large corporations had access to computing? Even changed the way our brains think and the way we work. And Apple, IBM figured out how to monetize this, Microsoft as well along the way. And then the next one that came along, I'm skipping a whole bunch, is the information economy. But the goal is to help you understand what democratizing does for the value of this world. So when the internet came along, before it came along, I used to have to go to the library, look up the encyclopedia to find out how many people lived in Barcelona. And now today, all I do is talk to Alexa and it tells me exactly how many people live in Barcelona. So we've democratized access to information. And one thing that really helped democratize it were these killer solutions or a killer app, somebody might say. I don't know how many people remember Netscape Navigator. Some of you might be too young. But when that came out, it allowed everybody access to the internet in a way that was easy to do. Before that, you actually have to have some computing skills and even know Unix to get that done. Sad part about it is Google and Facebook, maybe it's a great thing. Google and Facebook figured out how to monetize it. And then their algorithms have now created this mess that we're in some ways with social media. Another economy we take a look at was kind of crazy too, is the connected economy. And this is when we started democratizing global communication. There are over 7 billion people in the world that have phones. So out of all the people who live, pretty much everybody now has access to instant communication. And you think about how crazy that is, that we can now communicate through text, emails, video, all these different ways that we have the ability to communicate. And it has created a massive economy. The global communication economies is in the tens of trillions of dollars, and maybe even higher. And it still helps power a lot of the other economies that are coming forward. Today, I think most people understand that we're in an on-demand economy. You can think of Uber, Netflix, Amazon. And what did they really democratize? It democratized consumption. Now I can have not just consumption of physical items through Amazon and having things shipped to me instantly, but also the democratization of digital content. So look at Netflix. It's a good example now. In the past, I used to have to go to Blockbuster, which no longer exists, pick out a VHS cassette, and then it was a DVD, and then it was a Blu-ray. And even though that media was digitized, it wasn't delivered to me in a digitized format. And this is what the on-demand economy is. So what is this next economy that we're coming to? And this is where the metaverse comes in. But there's also been an evolution in consumer demand as each of these economies go forward. So when the Industrial Revolution existed, it was a product-based economy. We had access to products that we couldn't access before. It built the tools that we use to build tools today and create all this great physical stuff that we have around us. Companies tried to figure out, okay, how can I make my products better? And they started offering services along with those products. As of right now, it stopped being about just product and services. It's about consumption and about the experience. And if we start talking more about all these types of experiences, we get into the idea, this is what the metaverse is really going to do, is going to democratize the ability for everybody to create amazing experiences. and deliver those. So if you take a look at a traditional approach, and this is why we're starting to see a change in the way we focus on experiences. Traditionally, we used to build a product, we build a series of features, and then from those features or functions, we would actually piece together an experience. If you take a look at where design thinking has led us, we flip this on its head. And we've taken an experience-based design approach now where we actually start with the experiences, then figure out the features and functions, and then we figure out the product, the tech, and the services to help deliver those features and functions. And you can see this actually in the automotive space right now. In the past, they were all about the product, the car itself. The experience was I got in the car and I heard the engine roar, and it could take me from point A to point B. But what you're starting to see now is they're actually starting to head to actually define full-on experiences, not just features and functions. I actually had a conversation with an executive automotive company. He says, no, we design experiences. I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, there's this button that you push and the car will parallel park itself. I'm like, that's not an experience. An experience is a good Monday morning commute. So as we start to head down to designing these experiences, we have to start thinking at the whole grander scale of what the experience is, and then figure out the features and functions instead of trying to take the features and functions and turn that into an experience. I'm going to click again. There we go. So the metaverse, I guess it's maybe we should probably have a quick understanding of what it really is, or and it's really driving the real-time economy. And again, I don't know if the metaverse is the right term to define this. We just went through the metaverse hype curve. You can see what happened when the market didn't have a good understanding of exactly what the metaverse was going to be. It wasn't just going to be some location in a VR headset driving very cool experiences, but I wouldn't say democratizing everything. But you're going to take a look at the metaverse. It's a real-time economy, and it's going to be ubiquitous, and it's going to wake a whole bunch of new ecologies up. And so what I mean by that is everything is going to be connected. Everything is going to have sensors on it. And in a way, when we bring this connection together, it's going to allow us to create amazing experiences that other people haven't been able to do before. I think I skipped a slide by double clicking because it was too fast. Yeah. So in essence, what the metaverse really is, it's the infrastructure for democratization of creation and publishing experiences. And this is very, very powerful when I get to the point that everybody can create and everybody can publish their own experiences. And this is going to take a lot of effort. We're not quite there yet. It still takes people who have technical skills to create these VR, XR experiences. But as we start heading along with tools like EFOS and what Dimension X is creating, these tools are going to allow everybody to be able to create. And this is not powered by any single technology. It's powered by real-time 3D engines like Unity, Unreal. You can even put Roblox in that. 5G and 6G are going to be essential for the amount of information and data. AI, machine learning, extended reality, edge computing, Web 3.0, computer vision, digital twin, IoT, blockchain. Pretty much all these new technologies are coming together to create this new real-time economy. And this economy is allowing us to consume experiences. And there's going to be a lot of different ways that people figure out how to monetize this. And so it's not that it's just getting rid of all the old economies. We still are going to be wearing clothes, but I'm enhancing the way that I'm going to actually be buying my clothes and actually maybe even consuming them in some ways. Maybe I'll be renting them very much like they do with cars and Airbnb. So I don't even have to no longer go out. You can take a look at tuxedos, but I might be able to rent individuals' clothes that fit me. You can even look at the idea down the road that I'm a creator. I created this tattoo design. It's a virtual tattoo. I wear it on my arm. Those who have their glasses on or their phone that are my friends can see it, or maybe I make it public so everybody can see it. And then they blink on it, they click on it, and they can actually acquire that tattoo. And maybe there's only one of them. Maybe I define how many are available. So I can create the on-demand, a demand for it by myself. So this is what I mean by creators. So not only am I creating just experiences, I can create art. I can create things that people will, product and services that people will go after as well, that will help enhance their experiences that they want to have. I can even make this tattoo digital and virtual. So in the sense that it's moving and actually telling a story on my body at the same time. You're also going to see things in automotive very, very quickly when you take a look at transportation. And the other great thing about the metaverse is it's contextual and it's hyperlocation based. So based off of where I am, those are the experiences I'm going to have. So as I'm driving in my vehicle, maybe I'm driving by an old stadium where my team won the championship, and I get to relive that. I get the audio that comes in. I get maybe virtual fireworks lighting over the place. All these types of experience that I can have and contextually. Maybe I take a tour of Miami and do a Cuban music tour, and it takes me around and tells me the history of Cuban music or Cuban food, whatever it happens to be in that particular area. And I can get out and I can stop and I can go participate. If you look at the world of manufacturing, and this was what we'll call the industrial metaverse, for lack of a better term, the idea is not going anywhere. We're still making tons of products, but what we're doing is we're enhancing those products. We're giving people access to information. We're giving it in a way that is collaborative, interactive, and it's actually an experience to go learn and participate together. And of course, obviously, everybody sees the metaverse as an entertainment place in essence, but it's a lot more than that. We can still go play games, whether it's Pokemon Go. We're going to see us leaving our couches and heading out back into the real world, where we're experiencing things with our friends in real physical space, but they're augmented. And this is what we really mean by augmented reality and augmented experiences. Next slide. And really, this is only limited by our imagination. We can do some crazy things with all this technology. In essence, the metaverse is basically opening up a new dimension, a fifth dimension, a virtual dimension where we can actually breathe things that don't physically exist and bring them into our world. So I can even get into graffiti and spray painting and art and sharing it and creating my own experiences. And this is what's really, really important about the metaverse is the democratization of creating these experiences. It's not big, huge studios. You can take a look at TikTok. It's a really good example of a step into democratization of creation, right? I can go create videos on TikTok that 10, 15 years ago would have taken a studio with months to create. And I can do it in a matter of minutes now. This is the same thing that's going to happen, but it's not going to be just within a single platform. It's going to be consumable across all platforms. And this is the ultimate goal of it all, right? If you take a look at when we talk about democratizing creation, it's also democratizing publishing. So I don't have to have I can go to any hardware. I can go to any device. I could go, maybe it's through a browser, but everybody doesn't have to download that app and go into that app where now I've got them locked down. And this is part of the challenge that we have with the metaverse. Everybody sees the opportunity from an economic standpoint, but it also drives them to actually make some bad decisions and try to own it. And that just actually kills it. And you can think of, say, places, like Fortnite, where you can go watch virtual concerts as a website inside the metaverse. It's just a locale. It's just a virtual location they can go. And there's going to be hundreds of thousands of those. So let's talk about the real value of the metaverse. And it's very simple. Just do some quick philosophy. Life is only about two things: experiences and relationships. If you have amazing experiences and amazing relationships, you're going to have an amazing life. So this is where consumers are heading and focusing on these things. And this is what the metaverse does. If I can democratize the creation of experiences, I can have an impact on people's relationships as well. And that is also another thing that we can do with the metaverse is democratization of wisdom. And what I mean by this is we have information, we democratize information. I could go and access everything online. Doesn't mean I have a lot of knowledge. Now, as we start to democratize education globally, I can actually get knowledge. But wisdom only comes through experiences. And what I mean by democratization of it is I can actually go experiencing all these things and go from knowledge to wisdom at a much faster rate than I could have in the past, in ways that people couldn't have done before. Like if I wanted to go attend a TED Talk in the past, I usually had to go to a physical conference, or maybe I had to participate. But now I actually get to go to not only just go to the conference, I get to communicate and interact with people who are at the conference and maybe even experience the same things that person who is sharing, because he's created an experience with it and how he came to his wisdom. The other really crazy thing about this, it's also going to give us access to billions of unique neural networks. And what I mean by this is there's over 7.5 billion people on this planet, and we each have a unique neural network. We all see the world differently. And now that I'm giving them, all these people, the power to create, now that this new economy is giving the power for everybody to create, they can now create experiences that I can now go experience it, and I can learn their point of view. And this really is what's interesting about what this can do. It allows us to go participate in this world with others and really start to democratize empathy. In that sense, I have an experience. It doesn't matter. Indigenous people of this land, I could go to a site and walk in, and they've created this experience, and I can understand their culture and live their culture and experience and hear their point of view and their story. And this is what's really, really exciting to me about this. Not only is there going to be this massive new economy, it's going to be an economy for all from creating their own experiences, but it's also going to create the ability for us to have empathy with individuals. And thank you very much.